In the first scene, Evelyn focuses on her carpentry work in their new house as the family looks forward to starting a business. Evelyn appears skilled in carpentry and carefully places several sculptures on the shelves she has just built. After finishing, Evelyn receives a message from her husband, Red, asking her to pick up their son, Kane, from school. Here it is revealed that Red works at the same school as a construction supervisor. Shortly after, Evelyn arrives at the school and greets her husband. She then meets the principal, Mrs. Rhee, and thanks her for allowing her children to study there. Mrs. Rhee replies that it's her duty to provide quality education and adds that Kane is still struggling to adjust to the new environment. However, she is confident that he will eventually make friends and become more open. After that, Evelyn approaches Kane, who is sitting alone in the school garden. She gives him a new toy to cheer him up, and they head home together. On the way, Evelyn asks how his day at school went, hoping for a positive answer. But Kane complains, saying that he hates the school. According to him, the students are mean, and the teachers always scold him. He even says he wants to transfer to another school, but Evelyn refuses because it's the best school in town. She comforts him, saying that he will make friends soon and become a good student. The next day at home, Evelyn is on the phone with her mother when suddenly the doorbell rings. She opens the door and finds her friend Uriah, a mute psychic, visiting. Evelyn quickly greets him and invites him inside. Without much talk, Uriah begins to inspect the house and make some strange remarks. He then takes out a set of cards and starts reading Evelyn's future. At first, he says that her husband will soon earn a lot of money, which delights her. However, when he draws another card, he warns that great trouble will soon befall the family. While they are talking, Red arrives home with Kane. He tells Evelyn that Kane got into a fight at school and has been suspended for 3 days. Red then speaks to his wife privately, questioning why she invited a psychic to their house. Evelyn explains that she only wanted Uriah to bless their new home. After that, Evelyn asks Uriah to come back the following week for the blessing ritual, and he agrees. That night, the couple discusses their son's behavior. Red mentions that the principal is losing patience and that if Kane doesn't change, he could be expelled. Afterward, they go into Kane's room and tell him that he's grounded for 2 weeks, which means no TV or video games. If he fights again, he'll be grounded for a whole year. Kane looks sad at first but quickly brightens up when Evelyn tells him they'll go hiking in the woods the next day. The next morning, Kane wakes up early and eagerly wakes his parents. The three of them head to the woods and enjoy some quality family time. As they go deeper, Red suddenly stops and hands Evelyn an envelope containing a website address for her new business. Evelyn is thrilled and thanks her husband. But suddenly, they realize Kane is missing. Panicking, they start searching for him and finally find him standing in front of a strange-looking door. The door stands upright without any support, held together by chains and bolts. Kane stares at it curiously, clearly drawn to it. Red and Evelyn are confused, unable to understand how such a door could appear in the middle of the woods. Although it looks suspicious, Evelyn suggests bringing the door home for restoration. As a carpenter, she is fascinated by antique wooden objects and wants to repair it to use in their house. Red is hesitant at first because the door looks creepy and might be full of insects, but he eventually gives in. They load it onto their truck and bring it home. In the next scene, Evelyn immediately begins restoring the door with great enthusiasm. She sands, cleans, and paints it for 3 days until it looks brand new. Since they were planning to buy a closet door anyway, Red happily installs it in their room. That night, the door slowly creaks open on its own, suggesting that a mysterious energy has entered the house. The next morning, Evelyn finds some half-eaten food in the kitchen and assumes Kane did it, but he denies it. Shortly after, Evelyn grabs a jacket from the closet and heads to the market. After shopping, something shocking happens. She finds several maggots inside her jacket pocket. Horrified, she screams and throws it away immediately. When she returns home, Evelyn tells Red about the strange incident and accuses their son of being responsible. Red takes it lightly, thinking Kane is just playing around, but promises to talk to him. Evelyn then goes to the kitchen and sees a girl standing still. She panics and turns on the lights, only to realize it's just Kane. The boy says he can't sleep because every time he closes his eyes, he sees a monster chasing him. His parents calm him down, telling him there's no such thing as monsters, and tuck him into bed. Evelyn even sings a lullaby until he falls asleep. As she leaves the room, a hand suddenly emerges from the closet and tries to grab her, but she quickly slams the door shut. The next morning, Uriah returns to the house and immediately senses that something is wrong. He tells Evelyn that an evil spirit has entered the house and that it must be cleansed immediately. He then begins to bless the entire place using salt and smoke. When Uriah approaches the closet, he notices a red door and asks Evelyn where she got it from. Evelyn casually explains that they found it in the woods and brought it home to restore it. Hearing this, a worried Uriah insists that the door carries dark energy and must be removed at once. While the two are busy cleansing the house, the lights suddenly start flickering on their own, a sign that the evil has begun to take control. An anxious Uriah then leaves but warns Evelyn to be cautious about what she brings into the house. Some time later, at his wife's request, Red tries to remove the door, but the screws won't come off. He assures Evelyn that he will get rid of it over the weekend. The next day, Evelyn visits the town library and asks the librarian about strange events in the area. The librarian reveals that several unsolved mysteries have occurred involving missing children. Curious, Evelyn reads articles about the missing children and discovers that the last case happened 20 years ago. She also learns that the final victim was a girl named Maggie Bradford and that the disappearances stopped after she went missing. That night, Evelyn tells her husband about her discovery, but Red dismisses her concerns, saying there's nothing to worry about. He also accuses her of being influenced by Uriah and tells her to find a new hobby. The next morning, when the couple wakes up, they are shocked to find that the paint on the door has peeled off. Evelyn had just painted it a few days earlier, yet it has somehow worn away for no reason. This makes Red finally realize that something is wrong with the door. While Evelyn is home alone doing her chores, the spirit of a young girl roams freely through the house. At first, Evelyn doesn't notice her, but when the mysterious girl enters the closet, she goes to check the noise. She carefully opens the door only to find nothing inside. Just as she exhales in relief, she receives a message from Red asking her to come to the school immediately. At school, the principal tells the couple that Kane has been involved in another fight and that she has no choice but to expel him. Evelyn is heartbroken and starts to realize that something is seriously wrong with Kane. That night, the concerned parents discuss their son, and Red decides to take Kane with him to work so he can learn teamwork and responsibility. The next morning, as planned, Red and Kane leave together, leaving Evelyn alone at home. While working, Evelyn comes across more newspaper articles about the missing children. Growing curious again, she decides to visit Mrs. Bradford, the mother of Maggie, the last missing child from 20 years ago. The old woman is shocked when Evelyn tells her that she found the strange red door in the woods and brought it home. Mrs. Bradford warns her that she has made a terrible mistake by bringing the door into her house. Meanwhile, Red finishes work early and drops Kane off at home. Back at Mrs. Bradford's house, the old woman begins telling the story of the cursed door. Many years ago, her daughter often visited an abandoned house that people believed was haunted. Mrs. Bradford warned Maggie not to go there, but the girl was strangely drawn to it and kept returning. One day, Maggie vanished without a trace. Since several other children had also gone missing at the time, Mrs. Bradford decided to take matters into her own hands. She brought several gallons of kerosene and burned down the entire house to stop the evil. However, the door refused to burn, so she buried it 8 feet underground. Even then, the door resurfaced, standing upright as if it wanted something. With no other choice, Mrs. Bradford wrapped it in chains and left it to rot in the woods. Since then, no more children had gone missing, until now, when the evil has been unleashed again. Suddenly, Evelyn receives a text from her husband saying that he has just dropped Kane off at the house. Terrified, she rushes home, arriving at the same time as Red. The couple bursts inside, but it's too late, the evil has already taken their son. Soon after, the authorities arrive but can do nothing except record the incident. In the next scene, a desperate Evelyn calls Uriah back to the house. He tells her that they might still have a chance to save their son, but they must act quickly or Kane will become part of the underworld forever. Uriah instructs Red to take the door back to where it was found so they can perform a ritual and negotiate with the spirit that took Kane. Desperate, Red grabs a sledgehammer and finally removes the door. The three of them then go to the exact spot where it was discovered. Without wasting time, Uriah begins the ritual and attempts to summon the spirit. After a while, he manages to contact the gatekeeper named Empusa and requests permission to speak with her master. At first, Empusa refuses, saying her master is busy with the children. But when Uriah mentions that Kane's parents are willing to make a deal, she agrees. Suddenly, the entire place goes completely dark. When Uriah lights his lantern, they see several ghostly children standing in front of them. Moments later, the children vanish and the door slowly opens. Though terrified, Evelyn, Red, and Uriah step inside and come face to face with the evil spirit. The negotiation begins. Evelyn and Red immediately offer themselves in exchange, but the spirit refuses, saying he only takes children. He explains that he feeds on children's fear and that Kane is his most treasured possession. The spirit then asks if they are willing to make others suffer to get their son back, and they agree. The spirit produces a contract filled with conditions. Once the couple signs it, Cain emerges from the underworld, and the family is finally reunited. However, Uriah warns them that they must fulfill their end of the bargain or suffer the consequences. He also tells them that he will be leaving town and advises them to do the same. The next day, Evelyn and Cain pack their things and leave. Meanwhile, Red decides to stay a few more days to finish some unfinished business. He repairs the cursed door and installs it somewhere in the school. Finally, he hands the key to Mrs. Rully before leaving. In this way, the door now stands in the school, where the demon can reach countless children. That was the price Evelyn and Red had to pay to get their son back, and with that the story ends here.